What up, gamers? Welcome back to Gamers Bay, and today we're going to take a look at an old school arcade light gun shooter called Golly Ghost. So this was developed and published by Namco back in 1990, and it's basically a shooting gallery game, and it's a super challenging one at that. In fact, probably the hardest I've ever played in my life. And there's a reason for that. Besides being a light gun shooter, this was also a ticket dispensing machine, so you could win real world prizes by winning the game, and for that reason, they made it super challenging. So the game pretty much consists of these semi-translucent ghosts, as you can see, that just stream across the screen randomly, popping in and out of objects in this house. And one of the really challenging aspects about this game is the fact that the reticule for the light gun that you use to aim and shoot these ghosts, it's kind of haphazard. It just kind of shakes around in different directions as you're trying to aim the fire, in a sense to try to attempt to throw you off so that you'll miss. Another thing to note is that some of the characters in this game aren't actually ghosts. In fact, there's footballs and cheeseburgers, among other strange oddities in this game. As you can see, we just ended the first stage and we scored 70 points. Well, now it's telling us we have to score an additional 50 points on top of that in order to come out this round. If we don't score at least 50 points, we can't extend on to the next stage. And another really weird thing about this game is that they have like these, not necessarily end bosses, but there's these characters that come out at the end of each stage, and if you shoot them, you basically get bonus points for them. Another thing to note too is that some of the characters have multipliers. You can see right there, like in this stage, if we shoot the footballs, we get 3 points instead of 1. For the rest of the characters, you're just scoring 1 point. So we've already beat our score because we need to get 50 points, and we've got 67 right now. And here's basically one of those end bosses I was telling you about. If you shoot them, you get an extra multiplier. And so we beat that stage. We're at 139 points now. I don't know if that translated to 139 tickets in the arcade or what. It's hard to say because I never actually played this game in the arcade. I'm running this in MAME, which by the way was really complicated to get this working. The artwork didn't work with the version of MAME I had originally tried, and I kind of had to do some digging to figure out how to get it to work. Another thing to note is that the items, like the elements in the background, were actually mechanical in the arcade. Those doors were not just graphics, they were mechanical devices that moved. And so this was the way that they stated was this was a electromechanical hybrid arcade game. Really, really strange stuff. But it emulates pretty good in MAME with just still images and the illusion of the doors and stuff opening, etc. And so now we beat the third stage. Now we're going to go on to the fourth one. This gets really tough. I really had to play this for a little while to kind of get it down. It's really, really tough. Plus, I'm also playing with a mouse and a keyboard, and I'm not using a light gun. I think if I had an actual light gun to use with MAME, this probably would have been a little bit easier. It's actually, well, it's hard to say. Super, super challenging. Look how fast those ghosts are streaming out the screen. I mean, you're supposed to be able to aim and shoot those. It's just ridiculous. This is so tough. This game is so hard. I mean, I can just imagine, you know, being in the arcade, standing there with a light gun. You're probably, I would say, probably a foot and a half or further away from the screen. You know, you would really have to aim pretty close in order to actually zap these ghosts that are flying around the screen at like 1,000,000 miles an hour. So anyways, that is Golly Ghost, and it's just really, really, really challenging game. Really, really cool concept to it. I really, really do like the concept. I think they did a good job at this. It was originally a 2-player game, as you can see, Zip and Zap. And I have not tried actually doing a 2-player mode with this, but another thing too that makes this really challenging is the fact that the ghosts, because they're semi-translucent, they're kind of hard to see. You can see the background is super clear in this game, but the ghosts, because their transparency is about 50% within the foreground of the screen, it does make it a little bit more challenging to spot them, especially when they start moving really fast. Like right here, we're back in the beginning we're back in the first stage, the very beginning of the game again. And so most of the characters don't move that fast, except for the ones stringing in a line right now. But they're pretty easy just to target because they're all going in the same direction. When you get to those later stages, you add that transparency on top of the fact that they're moving so fast, and then you have this reticule for your light gun that just bounces all over the place. And there you can see the bonus character in this round just showed was the football. So you shoot those footballs, you get 3 points instead of 1. Well, in order to actually make it stage to stage in this game, you have to shoot a number of those bonus characters with the multipliers. And if you don't get them, you're probably not going to make it. You can see some of those, like those red ghosts, man, I had a really hard time catching them. They move so fast. Some of the other ones freeze for a second. So they kind of try to give you a chance to get them, but it's not very long. It's like 1 second flat. And that's another thing too, the reticule for the light gun, it's only going to aim so fast. And it really doesn't matter how I adjusted the settings in main. Like this part right here, you shoot those extra characters, those are where the real multipliers come in, but it's so hard to get them. So we got an extension again. Anyways, I got to the end of this game, which is I think like the 4th round, and I just got completely drained. It's so difficult. One of the things that really kind of sucked that I didn't like about this game was the fact that it feels like you're playing the same level over and over again. You can see the background doesn't really change for most of the levels. It's just like the same elements. The ghosts do change. You do get a different variety of ghosts depending on the stage, but the objects themselves are pretty static. In fact, the background images themselves are static, and they basically, like in main, they just go in the artwork folder. And then you have a layout configuration file that coincides with the game as well, to help tell MAME exactly where, which elements open and close, where do the graphics, where do they pop up on the screen, etc. So really interesting stuff. This game was a lot of fun to play. Definitely be sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date with our latest videos. And if you get a chance, check out Gamers Bay Community on Google+, or follow Gamers Bay brand page. We basically share a lot of gaming news and reviews, etc. on our G+ page, as well as Twitter. And anyways, many thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.